Hello and welcome, and the Lord's blessings to you. Today I'm going to talk about my experience with shelters and quote unquote, places that help the homeless. Because overall, I have not received help. It's been a very frustrating process to reach out, and I just won't anymore. The only place I've really had a positive experience is a place in Arizona. I can get a shower there. I can just go there. It's private. They do ask for an ID, which I really don't like, but it's private, and that's really important when you're a female, is to have a private bathroom so you can be safe. And I appreciate that they do that. Um, in New Mexico, I dealt with, it was at least one. The one was really awful. They said they were Christian. They had actually bought out some property from Catholics, and they had a church on it even. It looked really nice, and the office had Jesus everywhere. And they had no beds, and I'm like, I don't want a bed. I just want to park here. The one Walmart I was at had 3 cops stationed there. The other Walmart in the safe neighborhood had this sign with massive writing that said, "This is your warning. If you're caught sleeping here, it will be 3 months and or $3,000 fine," which is just ludicrous. And they wouldn't let me park on the property, and try to make me feel better. We've even turned away families with disabled children. Like, so you're just through assholes. Okay, but they, like, state law says they are not allowed to have people park on the property, which is really asinine. And when they found out I had a dog, she's like, "You really can't be here," but she did let me take a shower. And it was depressing. I was there for a couple hours. I wound up taking a shower, and I was sitting outside for a little bit, and there was a guy that said, "Oh, just stay for dinner." So I did, and it was one of those, like, oh Lord, like, is this the experience I need to experience for me to move on to the next phase? Like, so I stayed, and it was depressing. The church further back on the property was actually all fenced off. There was really nothing to do on there, in the facilities. It was really highly depressing. It was just so depressing. And they didn't pray over the food. Jesus was nowhere to be found once you got into the heart of the shelter. It was prison style shelter. Like, everyone had been to prison. And it was really sad because the old people were not people you could esteem. It's not people that were growing old with wisdom or grace. They were really rough people that just kept going on the path of destruction. It's sad because there was, like, a lot of kids there too, and they just had excessively rough. I mean, even the women were, like, rougher and more heavily tattooed than the men were. But it's just, oh, it was so depressing. And to actually get help from this organization, you actually had to sign all of these papers, and part of the agreement was that you were not allowed to leave their property for 90 days. For 90 days, they're just, like, out in the desert in this dirt field, and you're not allowed to leave. And they talked to me, and it just sounded, they said it was a really shady organization. Like, shady things were going on there, like how they ran it. Really unpleasant. And in LA, I just won't do anything with help groups because they're not helpful, they're hateful. Period. When you hear homeless help group, whatever, like, it's not help, it's hate. They're very anti-homeless. Quite often, they're really only set up for street homeless. They don't want, if you have a vehicle, they really want you to park 1, 2, even 3 blocks away, like, straight up. Like, I called one, and they're like, "Be considerate of our neighbors and park 2 blocks away." Well, why don't your neighbors consider of your clients? Like, that doesn't work for me. Like, it just doesn't. Another one I went to, and they had this ridiculous thing that you had to, like, first thing in the morning, like 6 o'clock, they took the first 5 people. This is a place that I've seen, like, 70 plus men hanging around at 6 in the morning. So, one, it's asinine because it's so, like, Russian roulette. And, when you have health issues, I don't have the energy or the time to piss away. I just don't. And I'm not going to endanger my life by going out when it's pitch black and hanging out with a bunch of men. I don't know a single one of them. I mean, it's just dangerous. And I mean, it really was men only at that shelter area. Not really a shelter, it's a hate group. And I went in one day and I'm like, hey, I need help with mail and I wouldn't mind a shower. Like, could I, like, what's the process? And, she told me, and I'm like, I physically can't do that. And it's just really not safe. And it just doesn't work. I mean, like, really, like, take only the first 5 people. And I mean, there was really no line to say. So how they determined the first 5 people, I don't know, because there were really, it was not uncommon to see 70 men out front first thing in the morning. And the guy who worked there, he was decent. He's like, hey, just give her an appointment. But the woman, without even asking me, was just like, no, she has no kids. And she refused to help me because I don't have children. And I've heard this from other homeless women who do not have children. It's like, if you do not have children, you might as well be dead. You are dead to the system if you don't have children. Which, you know what? I'm a person too. I'm really tired of illegals and women who choose to have, like, 10 kids by 20 different men always get priority. It's like they're choosing to be dumbasses, and so they get the help, and I don't. If you're sober, if you do not have kids, and I have the extra, struck against me, I'm educated. Like, they don't want to deal with people like me. The system is set up to take money from me, not help me. So she wouldn't help me at all. I went to another one. The parking's awful. They're always awful. At least this other place, it's in a safe city, but it's not a safe shelter. I got a couple of showers there, but it was you don't feel safe, even parking your car. Like, the way certain people look it up, and it's like, oh, for the love of God, don't steal from me. Like, just don't steal. Like, it doesn't help anyone. It's just, and this is, I don't know. I know one of the guys in Venice, he left because of how the new homeless are. They're just, and I've experienced it with cars. Like, this new generation of homeless are just different, and it's not a good different. But and that's it. And at that place in LA, it's really, I stopped going there altogether. You're not safe. It's prison style. They allow men in the women areas, and if you are not raped, you will be threatened with rape, period. So I stopped, and they had a lot of restrictions with mail when you could pick it up, and trying to get a parking spot that's already highly restrictive, and then trying to get it in the afternoon to pick up mail really doesn't work. And they had such a laundry list of things you could not have sent. It's like, could you just clarify what can I have sent? Because I'm just seeing what I can't have sent. Like, this really isn't helpful. And it was it's not helpful. A lot of help groups are just not helpful whatsoever. But yeah, and another one, I was told about another one. I called them, and I'm like, I just need a shower. That's a safe, private place to take a shower. And he's like, I really don't know if I can help you, but I'll put it out there. And someone did come forward, and there was a company running a house, and it actually worked really good, and it was a blessing. The lady let me come. She's like, come whenever you want to. And I would go to usually 2-3 times a week, and she let me do my laundry there, which was really helpful. And it was great because someone kept giving them blood oranges, which no one liked, and I really like them. They set so much better than regular oranges. So I got some food too. But they stopped running that place. And in the meantime, she had told me that the organization had hired someone new, and they're really excited because this chick had a background in homeless. And I was just cringed. But I called, and I'm like, hey, this is what I need. And she's just like, no. I'm like, well, you've helped me before. This organization has helped me before. Like, this is what I need. And she's like, what are your goals? I'm like, to get a full-size vehicle. Yeah, she didn't like that. She was very put out because I had not been to their, they put on meals, but I have food sensitivities and allergies, and food can just be downright dangerous for me. I have to be careful, and I'm not playing Russian roulette with my food a couple times a week. And plus, and I had been there, the parking was awful. It was very street homeless, and my anxiety went through the roof, and I physically was not able to park and get to it. It was just too much. And I told her, and yet again, they think they know me better than I know me. And it's like, food isn't helping. Especially when I don't know what you're serving and what you're putting into it. That's not a help. what is a help is a nice warm shower. And she actually hung up on me, and she refused to take my phone calls. She never would get back with me, and I let the lady knew that who I had been working with know what took place, but she really, it's, well, she has a homeless background, and you're homeless and you suck. So, yeah, I don't reach out to them anymore because they're not helpful, because they got someone with a background, and it's, I know better and you're stupid, and that's just not the case. It's just not, don't put me down. I know what I need, and being disrespectful and belittling to me doesn't help. And one of my friends who is in the woods, he just won't deal with help groups whatsoever because they're so belittling. He's just like, the way they talk to you, their assumptions, he's like, no, I will collect hands and I just do my best and keep to myself. But yeah, there's much to be desired within organizations that say they're for the homeless, and it was really upsetting. I was in a state and they had these huge posters that said end homelessness, and it's just like, it was upsetting. And I hear it on the radio in multiple places I've been. And, it's just always the absolute annihilation of this community instead of, and all in the guise of helping. And you're not helping when you're being hostile. So, Lord have mercy.